Let's go over an update for the future of the Star Wars franchise when it comes to President of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, and Disney's head, Bob Iger. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, I wanted to go over a subject that actually originally comes from Grace Randolph. If you guys want to go ahead and check out her video, it will be linked below in the description. It's a very interesting piece, and it's a very interesting discussion for sure, so go ahead and check it out. It will be linked down there below. Now, it goes over how Kathleen Kennedy's time over at Lucasfilm could very well be coming to an end as president of Lucasfilm and all things Star Wars, just under Disney's Bob Iger. Now, the very interesting thing about what's really going on behind the scenes over at Disney and Lucasfilm, supposedly, is that not too long ago, they had a very interesting conference call, and this actually involved, all the bigwigs over at Disney and different companies involved as well. And they had, I think they even had like J.J. Abrams there as well. I mean, tons of people were there, including people from Pixar, etc. And essentially, Bob Iger apparently wants Kathleen Kennedy to step down. Now, in case you guys are unaware of who Bob Iger is, he is the head. He is the CEO of Disney, and he is the one who really runs it all. And I think that they really have noticed the big shakeup ever since The Last Jedi's release back in December of 2017. Now, coming from Grace Randolph once again, this is the thing, is that Bob Iger wants Kathleen Kennedy to step down. Now, this all lines directly up with what we heard a couple of weeks ago. You guys may recall this, that there was a lot of talk that Kathleen Kennedy would announce her successor in September. And that honestly really does line up with this whole entire situation that is a big subject today within, of course, the Star Wars universe and the franchise and what's going on over at Disney and Lucasfilm. So, looking at everything here, what's really interesting to me as well is that, according to Grace, JJ was actually offered to take over everything, and he actually denied it. He didn't want to get involved at all. And that brings me to another pointer here as to why I really do believe that this is all valid. Because JJ was supposed to appear on the James Corden show. I don't know if you guys recall, but a couple of days ago, he was supposed to appear on the late night show, James Corden, and he didn't appear, and Cher was his replacement guest. So, there was no explanation at all whatsoever as to why he canceled, no questions asked, which really does mean usually that, well, the reason was to be left confidential. And I think it all had to do with those big discussions going over at Disney and Lucasfilm or wherever it really was taking place. And exactly all these different discussions on, JJ quite possibly taking over Kathleen and how he turned that down. There's a lot of things going on the other side of Disney and Lucasfilm. So, yes, what's really interesting to me, though, overall about all of this is that what's going to happen to Kathleen Kennedy, because nobody wants to take the job, according to Grace. Nobody wants to take the job as head of Lucasfilm. And here's the reason why. Because the fans are divided, maybe even more than that, right? It's a big situation right now, and nobody wants all that weight on their shoulders. Now, if you ask me, Dave Filoni, perfect fit, at least creative-wise. Business-wise, yes, that's questionable, I can understand that. But they could always put in a business partner, as Grace implied. That's a very good idea. So, to have partners where Dave is on the creative side of things, and to have a business partner and have those two people run Lucasfilm, I think that's the best thing to do possible. Because not only would you have one person, you would have two people doing, a different job. You would have one person on the business end and one person on the creative end, and handing down these ideas down all the way to the creative team until the point where they make these motion pictures. Now, apparently, all of the standalone films are indefinitely being put on hold, except for the Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars movie. Also, a couple of days ago, according to the playlist, we learned that apparently Disney, months ago, this was told to the playlist, and I'm not quite sure on how valid this is, but apparently the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie may very well be coming to Disney's streaming service, which is set to launch in autumn of 2019. So we could very well see the very first Star Wars motion picture on a streaming service at some point in time in 2020, maybe even 2021. So it's a very interesting thing to take in, guys, and I'm really wondering as to what's going to happen before Star Wars Celebration. Now, I think that's another thing to take into, thought here, is that what would it be like for Kathleen Kennedy to go on stage in April of 2019 in front of all the hardcore fans, that many of which have a big problem with The Last Jedi and what's going on with the direction of Star Wars, etc. I don't know if she would do it. I really don't know if she would make it to the show. I just don't know. I mean, would you? I mean, if you have all these people having all these different criticisms on how these movies are being made, I don't know, guys. It seems like a very big thing to, show your face there, but I think that we're going to definitely see this big shift in everything that's happening on the business end here before Star Wars Celebration. I'm betting on it. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.